Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sentence Diagramming 101. This section or this video is about chapter 8. So we're to the other stuff and we've made it to section C. So this is expletives or extra words. We love to add extra words in English all the time, but there are a lot of them. But for this chapter, we're going to focus on there is and there are and interjections. But we'll also review that and as, which we kind of covered already, but we'll just review them once more. But there's a prime contender. We love to use the word there. You've probably, in writing classes, you've probably had somebody tell you not to start a sentence with the word there because it's a weak construction. And they were right most of the time. If you want to say there are many ways to show this idea, you're kind of like, really what your sentence is saying is ways, because that's your subject. Like ways are there to show this idea. Really what you need to do is just get into those ways. Don't tell me there are ways, like ways exist. Like, well, yeah, I figured, get into whatever those ways are. And then your paper will be a lot more interesting if you're writing an essay. But if you look at it, there is just literally hanging out. It does nothing when it is acting as an expletive. You're not pointing at the ways. You're not like, over there are the ways to show an idea. Like, ways is an abstract idea. You can't point at it. It's not the same as using it there when you're pointing at a thing, like there are your glasses, right? As we're going to get to in a moment. But a lot of the times there is used as an expletive and you can just get rid of it and your sentence will be stronger for it, or your ideas will come through a lot stronger. But, if you do the same thing, there are many songs on this playlist. You're like, many songs are on this playlist. Like, you don't need the there because songs is your subject, are is your verb, and then on this playlist tells me where they are. And excuse me, sometimes, like I said, you will need it there, but only if you could like point to it. So if you want to say like, I saw him there, you're like, oh, okay, well, like there is a thing. It's an adverb. It's telling me where. So that is a functional there. I buy my glasses there. I'm pointing at like the Lens Crafters or wherever I'm like, no, that place right there. I buy my glasses there. If you could point to the thing, then your there is an adverb. It is not working as an expletive. Whereas if we look at these, many songs are there on this play. Are you pointing at your playlist? Like, no, you're not. You're just like, many songs are on this playlist. Done. But if you want to practice, like, I buy my tea there. Okay, cool. That's a place, right? Adverb. There is my missing sock. I found it, right? Pointing at it. There it is. There's more tea in the cabinet. Oh, wait. Really, you're just like, more tea is in the cabinet there. So this is an expletive. There is more tea. There are so many varieties of tea. You're like, well, yeah, so many varieties of tea are there. There is like they exist. I don't know. This isn't really specific. So this is an expletive, right? There are so many. There on the counter are many varieties of tea. Ooh, this time I'm pointing at a specific spot. So this there is an adverb. Now diagramming. We've done a little bit of this with that and as already, but you put your expletive up at the top. You connect it with a dotted line to whatever it's near. So in this case, your there is at the beginning. So you generally put it at the beginning before the subject. But if it's somewhere in the middle, like at the beginning of a noun clause that introduces a direct object, like, that there are, you wouldn't do that there. But I'm trying to think of the last sentence. We did it like a chapter ago with Neo. Neo's thing is that he doesn't know that he doesn't know. So in that case, if you have that, it would go over here before the direct object rather than at the beginning. But you just go by word order. Where is it in the sentence? But literally, expletives do nothing because they're just hanging out. They're just hanging out in little stands, just floating on, attached like a little balloon. As the book says, they're just hanging out inside, they want to be part of the party, but they're not. They're just outside staring through a window. That got creepy. Okay. If you wanted to diagram, there are many ways to show this idea. You're like, ways are. That's the sentence. And then which ways? The ones to show idea. So this is an infinitive acting as an adjective, describing those ways. And then they're just hanging out. There are many songs. Same thing there. Oh, damn, my resolution again gets weird. But that's supposed to be a dotted line. This one did it too. This one too is supposed to be a dotted line. If in your book it's dotted. But the rest of these are, songs are on the playlist. Tea is in the cabinet. Let's see. Oh, a lot of these are doing it. Oh, but these are all adverbs, so they're fine. It's just this one. So varieties of tea there are. And then I saw him there. I bought my tea there. I bought my glasses there. My missing sock is there. So all of these are different. These are adverbs, whereas the ones before are expletives. Ask yourself if you can point to it. If you can, it's an adverb. If you can't, it's probably an expletive. Find the subject. Varieties are, of tea. They're there, right, on the counter. Remember the word as? We did this, right? Gray mechanized Maddie as Grady's son. So you just float that as up on top. We already know how to do these. So in this case, the as is before the object complement because that's where it is in the sentence. And then, now here's the that. Jason's problem is that he doesn't think of others. So we put the that floating before. You can float it off the bottom or you can float it off of the noun clause line. Either one is fine as long as it's floating. The truth that the historical documents or TV shows shocks the Thermians. These are both sentences from previous chapters, so they should be familiar. That, again, my dotted lines are just not showing up in this view. But yeah, you could do that here. It would be kind of hard to put it all the way over here, so I would just attach it to the line, the noun clause. All right, same thing. Sarah's taunts Jason with responsibilities. This whole positive thing, so attach that. See, those dotted lines come through, but these don't. I give up. Resolution is a funny thing. Neo's problem is that I knew this was a sentence that he doesn't know. What is real? So lots of noun clauses. Noun clause inside a noun clause. But that with the dotted line. And then that, I needed to rewatch the trilogy. So a lot of times, with your that's, you're going to throw them up on expletive stands. If you can remove the that without changing the meaning, it's probably an expletive. That's one of the good tests for it. And then the last one is going to be interjections. If you remember your interjections, they're extra words. They're like, yes, hey, names, Joe. So you're like, yes, there's my missing sock. So yes, just kind of floats up top. Now, the difference between interjections and other expletives is you'll notice that literally these are not connected at all, whereas the there is connected. And the reason why you do that is to distinguish between different kinds of expletives, like legit interjections. If you're like, woot, hey, woohoo, yay, those kinds of sounds that we like to make in our language, they really do nothing. Whereas there's a word. It's not a noise we make. Like names are noises we make. So that's why they are treated as just floaters. Whereas there's a word in and of itself. So that's the distinction that Alonso and Reed went with. You can argue about that a lot today, but that's what they were thinking. So if it's a true interjection, then you're supposed to just float it, whereas there, a lot of the time you attach it. This isn't something I'm going to get super detailed about, but you do want to realize there is a slight difference, and that's why. But for expletives, always ask what function the word is performing. If it can be removed without changing the meaning of the sentence, then it's probably an expletive. And you are ready to diagram some expletives in exercise 8C.